I coming through over there? So for those of you who weren't, thank you so much for commenting from YouTube. Um, for those of you who are here on this stream for the first time, I'm working with a new, amazing new company called Reach, and basically it aggregates. So I just go live from one place, and it aggregates the stream to all of my different channels, like Instagram Live, YouTube, everywhere. So I'm getting messages from people from like TikTok, YouTube. It's crazy. So thank you for everybody for joining. This is going to be a pretty short stream. Try to keep it like 15 minutes and under because I know everybody's busy, and I'm just kind of getting my feet wet with this platform. So I'm just going to wait a couple more minutes for people to join. For those of you who didn't know, today we're going to be talking about, well, we're not really going to be talking about it. We're going to be practicing a manifestation exercise for bringing things into your life that you desire. And this is really exciting for me because I am just really diving into learning this. So I'm by no means an expert at this, but I thought with all the practice that I've been doing, I would share that with you guys, and yeah, hopefully we can have a cool session together. Dilip from YouTube says Ritual reminds me of Depeche Mode. Thank you so much, man. That's a super flattering compliment. Ritual is my favorite song on Chrysalis, my new album. It's my favorite, personally, my favorite song. And it's crazy that you said that it reminds you of Depeche Mode because that was a huge influence on that track and on my whole sound in general. Like I just love how dark and industrial Depeche Mode is. So thank you for that. Yeah, that was. By the way, guys, I'm answering comments from like multiple platforms. So if you're on Instagram, and I'm responding to someone, I promise. But yeah, that was Ritual was me singing. Yeah, I'm just I'm just like answering. I'm just giving answers to questions that aren't being asked. Okay, so let's get into it, and then people will just trickle in because that's always how it goes down. But I want to keep this pretty short. So, um, what is manifestation? So I feel like in this day and age, especially if you follow my page, then you're most likely. I mean, if you pay attention to what I'm doing and talking about, you're most likely like a pretty conscious thinking person, and I'm sure that you've heard at some point or the other the term manifestation, or you've heard about the law of attraction. And essentially, the idea is that by getting ourselves into the feeling state of the outcome that we want in life, whether it's, a certain relationship or a certain level of success or a certain amount of money or career goals or whatever it might be, by getting ourselves in the feeling state of that outcome, we then actually magnetize that reality towards us. And it sounds a little woo woo, and like there definitely is a lot of stuff out there that's like a little bit kind of not unscientific. Basically, like it's like a little bit depending on your beliefs, your spiritual appetite, and your beliefs about you know how real reality is. Which I don't want to get into that conversation right now. When you first hear about manifestation, I know for me, like I'm generally pretty skeptical about things at first glance. And when I first heard this concept, I was like, that's bullshit. Like you can't just like think about something, or you, like just feeling a certain way about something is going to make that thing happen. But as I researched more into it and actually started just practicing it and seeing like evidence in my life show up about it, I started to change my mind. And I want to first address like the most scientific portion of this, which is when you have constantly have your mind on something, um, there's a part of your brain called the reticular activation system that basically is there to strengthen neural pathways so that you can recall information easier. So when you start to think about one thing over and over again, that part of your brain actually alerts you to look out for that thing in your reality. So, like a really easy example of this is like if you've ever been to a car dealership and you were thinking about buying a certain car. Like, let's say you went to a Volkswagen dealership and you were looking at a nice red Volkswagen. On the way home, you're much more likely to notice other Volkswagens or other red cars because your brain has just been fixed on that point. And so, how this relates to manifestation and our goals and things that we desire is that if you fix your mind on the things that you desire and you continually put your mind on those things, you're actually going to notice more opportunities in life to achieve those things. You still have to take action. And I think this is where like manifestation kind of trips a lot of people up or people get skeptical because there's a lot of stuff out there that's just like just sit and like be in the feeling space of it and it'll just happen. It's like no, you're nothing's going to happen if you just sit on your couch and smoke weed all day and are just like manifesting. You're not going to achieve things. You have to still take action. But I think this combination of fixing your mind on what you want and actually getting your body into the feeling state of what it would feel like to have that thing turns you into the kind of person who then not only is going to notice more opportunities about that thing, but you're actually going to feel like you deserve it. You're actually going to feel ready for that thing because you're practicing feeling what it's like to have already achieved the thing that you're trying to achieve. And so this can really affect our readiness to actually accept and be ready to receive that which we want. Because I don't know about you guys, but I know for me, like if I'm honest with myself, I'm actually not that afraid of failure. I'm more afraid of succeeding. Like the thing that I'm really most afraid of is what if all my dreams come true? Like, am I ready to handle that level of responsibility? Am I ready to handle that level of impact? Am I ready to handle that level of accountability to others and myself? Because like if you have big dreams, then if those dreams come true, like you're also going to have to level up as a person in order to manage that new reality. And I know for me, that's kind of scary. So the more that we practice getting into the feeling state of what is it like to be the person who's already living that reality that we want, like if, for example, if you want a certain type of relationship, well, how does that version of you who's been able to attract that level partner that you want show up? Like how does that person brush their teeth? What do they do in the morning? What's their morning routine? What are their habits? What bad habits have they let go of? And so I think it's basically like pulling the future you that you want to become in order to achieve those things into the present. And that's kind of how I think about manifestation. And then the final piece is obviously taking action because, like I said earlier, which I don't think really needs explaining, like obviously if you don't do anything, then nothing's going to happen. You have to take action. But I think taking action while constantly feeling like you don't deserve what you want, and constantly feeling like you don't actually you don't actually aren't actually thinking about what you want and you don't feel like you deserve it, in my experience is just a recipe for burnout. And like I don't know who else has been there, but like when you're just constantly working so hard and you wake up one day and you're like, what am I even working so hard towards? Or like, or yeah, I'm working towards this thing, but I'm the emotion that I'm feeling while I'm working is just like one of stress or anxiety or one of lack. Like I won't be happy until I get this thing. And that's why I think this technique that we're about to practice for a few minutes together is so powerful because if you can, before you get to work, if you can just take 5-10 minutes, and I've been doing this every morning, like the thing I'm about to lead you guys through, if you can just take 5, 10, 15 minutes, whatever it is, close your eyes, get yourself into the feeling state of what it would feel like to go attack your day from the vantage point of the person who's already achieved the things that you're working towards, and how different that will make your entire orientation towards your day. So um, I would invite you guys now to if you're still here listening and you're down to do this exercise, it's probably going to take about 10 minutes and we're going to do it together. I would invite you all to find a comfortable position. You don't need to be in any sort of special posture. I would suggest having your back straight though, just because in my experience, it just helps you focus. But your back can be supported, it's totally fine. And just taking a moment now to arrive here in the room. Just making a little commitment to yourself that for the next 10 minutes or so, you'll do yourself the service of having your full attention here in this present moment, knowing that whatever you were dealing with before and whatever is going to come after will be perfectly fine, even if you take these 10 minutes for yourself. And a really powerful way to ground yourself in the present moment that you can do literally anywhere at any time is something that one of my teachers, Emily Fletcher, calls the 2x breath. And basically, all it is making your exhale twice as long as your inhale. So if you'd like, you can inhale for 2 counts, 1, 2, and then exhale for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you'd like, you can inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. And this just de-stresses your autonomic nervous system. Whatever stress that you are carrying starts to ease up on that. And it also just brings you into the present moment because you have something very simple and very manageable to focus on, which is just your breath. And so if you notice yourself getting distracted by thought, you can just gently bring your awareness back to this simple technique of exhale twice as long as the inhale. And if you haven't already, I'd invite you to close your eyes so that we can go as deeply inward into this visualization exercise as possible. Letting the exhales be long and smooth. If you like, you can increase the time to 3 seconds per inhale, 6 seconds per exhale. And just riding the breath with your attention. It's one of the few things that happens automatically without our help or awareness, but also that we can control. Now, as you're ready, I want you to just ask yourself one very simple question. And that question is, what would I like to create? And I'm purposely going to leave it vague because I want you to fill in the details as they feel right to you. So it could be something as simple as a good night's sleep, or it could be some big dream that you want to achieve in the next year or 10 years. The question is, what would I like to create? And now with your eyes closed, see if you can start to paint a picture of this future reality by engaging your senses. So, what does it look like? Where are you? Who are you with? What sounds can you hear? What smells, if any? Just really engaging all five of your senses and your imagination to bring this reality of this thing that you would like to create in your life into the present moment using the power of your senses and your imagination. And see how immersed you can get into it. Kind of like when you're sitting in a movie theater and you get so immersed in the movie that you forget that it's a movie. See if you can bring that level of engagement and immersion to this visualization right now. And most importantly, pay attention to what you feel like in this moment, in this future reality where you've created that one thing that you'd like to create. What does it feel like? And now, this I really feel is the key to manifestation. This point is what turns it from just a thing that you do in the morning to a really powerful exercise that can really start to change the way that you walk through your life. Is the ability in this moment, while you're visualizing this future reality, to fully feel as much as possible at an emotional level what it feels like to have created the thing that you want to create. Do you feel joyful? Do you feel calm? Do you feel relieved? Do you feel proud of yourself? Just like a little kid, we're all capable of this. We've all been a little kid at some point that's just seemingly switched on a dime from one emotion to the other. One second we're bored, the next second we're laughing. So trying to dig and re-employ that skill that we all have and just really enter into the feeling state of what it feels like to have already created this thing. And now think about who would be the first person you would call? Who would be the first person you would tell the good news to if you had already created this thing that you'd like to create? Maybe it'd be a family member, a partner, a friend. Maybe you just go run up to the top of a building and scream it into the air. Imagine delivering that news. Imagine how exciting it would feel to deliver that news. Getting on the phone, you won't believe it. I did this crazy exercise where I imagined that I was going to create something and then I worked on it and it happened. And just fully immersing yourself in the feeling that you would feel, the feeling that you will feel when this thing you want to create comes to fruition. Before we wrap up this short exercise, last thing I'd ask you guys to do is to think about what is one inspired action I can take after this meditation, after this visualization, to get me closer to making that reality? What is one inspired action I can take to get me closer to realizing this thing that I like to create? And holding on to the feeling you'll feel when it's been done. Just make a commitment to yourself that after this call, after this exercise wraps up in a couple seconds here, you're going to go take that action. Just one simple inspired step, which will lead to another, which will lead to another. And when I say inspired, I mean infused with the feeling like your desire has already been attained. And as you're ready, you can wiggle your fingers and toes. Nice way to come back into this plane of existence. And slowly open your eyes, or do it quickly. Doesn't matter. And that's it. Go take that action. Thank you guys so much for joining. Like I said, I'm testing out this app called Reach, and I just, I'm always trying all these different exercises and meditation techniques, and I think this is a cool opportunity to just share what I'm working on with you guys. Kind of similar to how with Scary Sundays, it's like what I'm going through. This is more some actual practical tools that I'm trying out, that I want to share with you guys. So thank you all for joining. Thank you, Faria. I appreciate you being a part of this. Parez, I thank you for saying you love my music. I am not in Tulum. I'm missing it a lot though. Like I have a lot of friends in Tulum, and I was talking to one of them earlier today about how much I miss it. So I don't know if you live there, but yeah, I'll probably be back there at some point just because life always brings me back to Tulum. So yeah, guys, like I said, I'm also working on this, so keep an eye out. I'm sure I'll be talking about this more on my page and in my newsletter. If you guys want to sign up for that, I go a little bit deeper on things there. And this is a very short exercise we did. If you guys want to learn more about this approach to manifestation, a lot of what I'm working on right now comes from a type of meditation called Ziva meditation, Ziva, and it's basically it's a Vedic meditation, which is like a super ancient Indian meditation, but kind of packaged for like a busy Western mind and audience. And then there's also a lot of good stuff about manifestation in there. And so if you just Google Ziva meditation, it's a really powerful technique, and that'll help you dive into more. And in terms of other resources, in case people are interested in manifestation, oh, thanks, Neil. Proud of you too, man. Love you, brother. Um, yeah, in case you guys are interested in other resources about manifestation, one book that I definitely would recommend is Ask and It Is Given by Esther Hicks. Ask and It Is Given. And the other one is Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life by Wayne Dyer. Those two books do a really good job of explaining it in a really inspiring way. Um, and yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for joining. I love you all. And let me know how this went for you. Shoot me a DM on Instagram. And more importantly, if you continue with the practice I would love to know how it's going for you, and I would love to hear any little wins, little success stories. It's cool to do this with like a big dream. Like I have some really huge goals that I've been practicing this with every morning, but it's also kind of fun to do it with little smaller goals, like little things during the day where you're like maybe you just wake up and you're like, today I want to manifest that I'm going to meet a beautiful woman or man, whatever your preference. Uh, and just like see if you really do it properly and have that on your head, and you're also like in the feeling state of like what it would feel like to have that experience, like little things will happen. It'll start to surprise you, and it'll start to give you some more faith in the technique, so to speak. So thank you guys. Love you. Peace.